Let's talk about another one where we were right. And this one right here, I have a very special sounder for these people.
It hurts, doesn't it? All your dreams just hops down the fucking drain.
Hey. That was going to be for my guy Treylon Burks. He was going to be one of my fake outs even before the news. And then a man named DeAndre Hopkins signs in Tennessee. Oh, I was insufferable. I think that was the word, insufferable, on Twitter, because I had a feeling this was going to happen. You see, if sometimes it's good to get outside of the fantasy space and just listen to people within the NFL. That's kind of how I got the Joe Mixon one right. If you don't want to continue listening to the Dynasty Warzone, Jerry and I, we got your back. We're going to continue to put the right Dynasty spin on the news that we hear so that you continue to make the right moves in your dynasty leagues. But this was a foregone conclusion. Jerry, speaking of being scared and competitive, do you think Mike Vrabel's competitive?
Yeah. I think he eats light bulbs as snacks, actually.
Like appetizers. Snacks on danger, dines on death. And I love Mike Vrabel. And you know what Mike Vrabel's going to do this year? He's going to play a second place divisional schedule. No Cincinnati, no Buffalo, no Kansas City. It's a second place divisional schedule, 2 games against the Colts, 2 games against the Texans, a Jaguars team that they're not afraid of. Mike Vrabel understands that he's 2 years removed, 2 years, not even like 18 months, technically an actual number of days away from being or where he was the number 1 seed in the AFC. He always saw this offense. And Jerry, you know what I noticed last year? Could you tell during the offseason that it didn't seem like Vrabel was the biggest fan of Treylon Burks?
No, yeah, no, definitely not.
I mean, you go back to something like if you throw in, Twitter or like do a quick search, Treylon Burks, Mike Vrabel, the comments aren't flattering. And I understand that he's got first round draft capital, but you know what? That GM's gone. That man's gone. And the guy who just brought in DeAndre Hopkins is in charge. And they clearly are seeing him as the one. And this was an offense. I did the math earlier. They didn't throw the ball a lot last year, Jer. No. They threw the ball on average. I'm sorry. I did it over 50 games. 50 games. They averaged 29.2 attempts per game and completed 19.2 passes per game. So you got to chop that up between Burks and Hopkins and Okonkwo and all the other ancillary receivers and the running backs. Good luck. Good luck. Four for 50 incoming. Sorry about that, Jerry.
I mean, you're not wrong, though. I mean, if anything, does Ryan Tannehill benefit the most from this?
Oh, clearly. If you have a crusty, dusty Ryan Tannehill share.
He's at least something now. And he was nothing.
And conversely, you're probably a year away from figuring out what Will Levis is, barring injury. I will also say, not only in his time in Tennessee, but his time overall is that, Ryan Tannehill has had injury issues going clear back to his time with the Dolphins. So if you're a Will Levis supporter like I am, like our buddy Cody Carpentier is, you're probably going to have to wait a little bit because I think this move says Tennessee's like, we're going for this. We feel like we're a playoff team. We're not rebuilding. We're not retooling. We're going to go out and try to win the AFC South. We're not scared of Trevor Lawrence. And we were the top gun 2 years ago. And that's what they're doing. By the way, the notorious JR in the chat, you got to love the good play on words. He's like, yeah, Chig's value just got nuked. I like what you did there, Notorious. Jerry, what else you got on this one? And we'll move on into some breakouts.
Yeah, no. I mean, you were hoping for a better situation if you were, you were holding on to DeAndre Hopkins in the hopes that maybe he could have one more run. That's sort of the bad news there. Treylon Burks, you want to talk about a fake out? There we are. I mean, Randy, let's roll.
Well, just real quick, it's like, who's been the wide receiver 1 and the wide receiver 2 of relevance in the last 50 games with Tennessee? I mean, you'd literally have to go look. If I ask you,
AJ Brown's been gone, it's been a sack of potatoes.
And even the last season AJ Brown was there, he was hurt a good portion of the time. So, Jerry, it's been a tough day for those people. You ever watch game shows as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the classic Pressure Luck?
That's the whammies, no whammies.
You know, that's what Treylon Burks and Chig Okonkwo GMs were doing this offseason. Here's what happened. Here's what they were doing all offseason.
Big bucks, no whammies, stop!
Stop it, oh whammy.
Wow,
You got the whammy